In a video that may or may not have been recent, I moved my main router in here, hooked up that fan, which I believe is working. Yeah, that's working. It's not very hot in here, so that's good. And I installed this for my guest network in place of some piece of crap wireless N thing that I was using. Today, which I predict is going to go poorly because things usually do, but today I'm going to try and replace this old thing here. It works great, there's nothing really wrong with it, but I figure since I've got some better equipment now, I might as well make use of some better equipment because that's only wireless N, and I think that might only be N150 because that's a pretty early Airport Extreme. So, what I'm going to try and do, I picked up this for entirely way too much money, probably almost a year ago. But I'm going to try, with any luck, and I'm going to use this, if I can use this as an access point. Now, even if I can't, thinking about this, I don't think it'll matter much, because even if I can't, I could always just put that thing on its own little, it's going to make its own subnet, basically, but I'd still be able to access anything upstream from that, as long as, of course, it doesn't overlap. So, for example, if my main network happens to be 192.168.0.024, whatever, Cedar notation, you know how that works. But if it happens to be that, and I have, in theory, no other networks, if I make that 192.168.1.0, that should be fine. At least in theory. In practice, I don't know, but anything that I connect with the wireless really doesn't need to access a whole lot of stuff anyway, because there's not much that I connect to the wireless. As you can probably see here, it's quite full of crap. Wow. But I need to get that figured out. I'll get it configured. And I suppose even if I can't, and I do need an access point, I've got this, which was given to me by, if you like good ideas, probably a piece of junk in the grand scheme of things, but this has been flashed with DDWRT, so I know that it will let me use it as an access point. And I'm going to pull this thing out of the box and see what I'm missing, because you never know. I'm pretty sure I pulled it out and had a look before I would have bought it, especially before I would have paid that kind of money for something, but again, you never know. There it is. Pretty serious business piece of gear. It's actually pretty small though, all things considered, but the entire case is vented. Well, except for this front bit, which is reflective so you can see the idiot talking to his camera on YouTube in it. But the entire thing, at least on the bottom, is vented, so that hopefully bodes well for its quality. TP-Link used to be regarded as cheap junk, but maybe they still are, but they've certainly gotten a little bit better in recent times. But it came with all the antennas, which I find amusing that some of them have a little plastic on them and some of them don't. Yes, I put them on there in the order that they're in for a very good reason. Let me see if I can fix this one, which is half off. Good enough. I have an Ethernet cable. It came with one that looks like it's got both of the tangs still on it. Yep. So that's a good cable. That's nice. I might actually use that for this. The power adapter, which is a 5 amp 12 volt power supply that they put on as 5,000 milliamps for whatever reason, maybe to make it sound more impressive than it is. It's pretty heavy, but I don't doubt that it's not shielded that well. I hope it's the correct one. Anyway, I didn't get the instruction booklet that it presumably would have come with, so that's nice. Then again, I'm a man, I don't need instructions. So let me plug this in, and I'm invariably going to have to default this because I'm sure that whoever owned it last didn't default it. Green light on the power adapter, that's good. Plugged it into this. It's kind of loose, good quality. Let's hit the power on this and see what happens. Now, I don't have it hooked up to the internet network yet, Should probably deroute that cable anyway because I am going to need it. I think it just rebooted. I wasn't looking at the lights too carefully. So I'm not really sure. Well, seems like it's booting. Just made a Wi-Fi network. The computer, or it sees that. Someone's making a hissing noise. I wonder if it's booted yet. Do you want... Sure, why not? Not that it can get the internet from anything. It is giving me an address, though, so that's good. Now, to my amazement, it looks like it has been defaulted. And of course, it's one of these dumb smart things. So I'm not particularly filled with confidence on this one. But we'll go through it and see what happens. Good news! Look at this. Operation mode. Access point. I went ahead and I stole this cable off of my workbench. And I'm using it to hook this up. So that way, it's got network now. And I'm going to switch it to access point. Yes. The device is rebooting. There it goes. And we'll see what it does. I should be able to still use those wireless ports. Or sorry, those wired ports on the back. Which might come in handy when I go to try and pull things off of that when I reconfigure this network even further. Because I need to get my different subnets back. Or at least get started with all that. So... does say I'm connected, maybe. Give me a second here, I'll try and bring back the web administration user interface. Alright, so this machine is on the new network. My phone is, and I just changed the two lights, I hope, over. So what I should be able to do is come over here, and if I remember where it's plugged in, I should be able to just unplug it. We'll give everything a few seconds, and then I'm going to put the new one up there. And there we go. There it is up in its home. I'm not really sure why the internet light is red, because it is working. I mean, if we come down here, you can see that says it's got internet. And I mean, all those news stories are loading. We go to YouTube and that's loading. So, I don't know, I guess it must just do that in access point mode because it was working before I switched it into AP mode, and then as soon as I did, when it was sitting right there, it started doing that. So I assume that's normal, but it is working. But there is one more thing I need to do before I can wrap this up. Alright, well, I actually forgot that I was going to get this on video, but anyway, basically what I did with that is I disabled the network security on it because I figure with the captive portal, I've already got security on that. I don't need another layer of it. So I figure you just turn it off. It adds a layer of complexity that I don't really need right now. And it is working. I registered that. It's there. So that's working just fine. I can't access anything on the network until I enable that anyway, so it's not a big deal. And given there's nothing on that particular network that's worth accessing on the local network, I don't really care about that. So, it should be fine. Everything's protected by secure passwords and things like that, so I figure at the very least, if it does end up becoming a problem, then I can go ahead and I can re-enable the security on that. I would still probably like to replace that router with this one, because that thing is just kind of a piece of crap. So, and the antennas are falling off of it. I don't really know why. I don't like those Linksys routers. I think they're junk. But I gotta wrap this up. So, thanks for watching. If you've got any comments, feel free to leave them below.